All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into something I think that's really, really important for anyone who's on the academic job market.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the cover letter.
Absolutely.
And we've got this great article here about cover letter length.
Uh-huh.
And, I think especially in higher ed, this is just such a critical...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because, hiring committees are looking at
Mountains and mountains.
so many applications.
Right.
They probably don't even have time to really
No, they don't.
give full attention to every single one. So how do you stand out?
Yeah.
How do you stand out?
Make sure that your applicant
Gets to the top of the pile.
up to the top of the pile. Well, I think first impressions are just so key.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what this article is really getting at.
That's the thing. It's all about that first impression, right?
And I'll let you kind of take it from here.
So, yeah. I mean, one of the things that the article talks about is this idea of the Goldilocks zone, right?
I love that. Not too long, not too short, but just right. And in higher ed, that really tends to be one page.
One page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one page for your cover letter.
I think for a lot of people, that's going to seem really challenging.
I think it does. It feels very limiting. And especially when you've got all of this, research and teaching and service.
Or all this experience you want to talk about.
Put into the...
Yeah, but I think, you have to think of it as an opportunity to really, really hone your writing.
Okay.
To focus on what matters most. I mean, you wouldn't turn in like a 10-page, rambling research paper.
Right.
You'd want to distill your findings into a clear, concise argument.
You've got to make every word count.
Absolutely. And I think that really actually aligns
Yeah.
with academic writing in general, right? Like when you read journal articles, clarity, efficiency of language.
Getting to the point. Yeah.
Getting straight to the point.
Yeah.
That's what we value.
That's what we value.
So you want to kind of showcase your ability to do that.
Right. From the get-go.
Right in your cover letter, right from the start.
Okay, so now we've got this one-page limit.
Right.
Let's start, I guess, at the very, very beginning, which is that contact information.
Yeah.
The article mentions the basics, but I feel like, especially in higher ed, there's got to be a little bit more
I think so.
Thought put into this.
Yeah, I think in higher ed, we can't ignore
Social media.
Social media.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like LinkedIn is almost like a requirement these days.
Yeah, it's practically a requirement to be on the job market.
Taken seriously.
I think so, yeah.
As an academic.
Absolutely.
And even Twitter, I feel like in certain fields.
Oh, absolutely. Depends on your field, right?
Yeah, depending on your field.
Right. If your research area is actively discussed on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Include your handle.
Right.
It shows that you're part of the conversation.
Right. It's like you're already out there. Exactly. In the digital world having these conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got the contact information.
Okay.
Which, that's really just the very first step.
Right.
And we got to get to that first line of the letter.
Yeah.
The article mentioned personalized salutations.
Yes.
And I think in the world of higher ed especially.
Absolutely.
This has got to be really important.
I think so too.
To whom it may concern.
Oh, God, no.
It's just not going to cut it.
You have to address it to a specific person.
Right. You've got to know who you're writing to.
Exactly.
But what if the job posting doesn't list a specific person?
Right.
What do you do then?
Well, then you have to do a little bit of detective work.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Go to the department website.
Look
at faculty directories.
Okay.
See if you can find the name at the chair. Maybe reach out to your network and say, does anybody know who's on the hiring committee for this position?
Yeah. So it's a little extra work, but it is.
It's a little extra effort, but it's worth it.
To show that you're really...
It shows you're really interested.
Interested in this specific position.
Specific job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we've got the salutation.
Right.
How do we actually use that one-page limit effectively?
Yeah.
The article mentioned brevity.
Right.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
So, yeah, I think one thing that's really important is to think about moving beyond simply listing your accomplishments.
Okay.
I mean, your CV already does that, right? Your CV has a detailed list of all of your, publications and your teaching experience and all of that. So the cover letter is your chance to kind of highlight the most relevant skills and experiences and connect them directly to the position and the institution.
Okay, so you're not just repeating your CV.
Right, not just repeating your CV.
I think you're really kind of making those connections.
You're expanding on those key points that make you...
the ideal candidate for this job.
the ideal candidate for that specific job at that specific school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get it.
Good.
But how do we choose those highlights?
Right. How do you choose what to focus on?
Yeah. Where do we even begin?
Well, I think that's where we have to kind of shift gears and talk about storytelling.
Ooh, storytelling.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited to talk about this.
I'm all ears.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when we think about showcasing your academic journey, think of it like a story, right?
Okay.
Like you wouldn't just list,
The plot points.
the plot points in a novel, right?
Yeah.
You'd want to weave in,
Character
development, build tension, create a story that keeps the reader engaged.
Right.
So how do we translate that to a cover letter?
Yeah, because this isn't fiction.
Right. We're not writing a novel here.
Right.
But we can still use some of those same storytelling principles.
Okay, I like it.
So instead of just listing your accomplishments, think about how you can use those accomplishments to really illustrate your skills and experiences in a way that resonates with the reader.
Okay.
And one of the best tools for doing that is the STAR method.
The STAR method.
Yeah. Have you heard of this?
I think I've heard of it.
Okay.
From Mike.
So STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, and Result.
Okay.
And it's a framework for basically structuring your accomplishments in a way that highlights your problem-solving abilities and your impact.
Okay. I like it.
Yep.
So can you give me an example of how this might work?
Yeah. So let's say you're applying for a teaching-focused position, and you want to highlight your experience developing an online course.
Okay.
Which I think a lot of people are doing these days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how would you apply the STAR method to that?
Yeah.
Well, first you set the situation. Okay. Right? You were tasked with transitioning, a large lecture-based course to an online format during, a period of rapid instructional change.
Right.
Okay, so that's the situation. It kind of sets the context.
Yeah, set the stage.
Sets the stage.
Okay.
Then you talk about the task.
Okay.
Right, your task was to create an engaging and effective online learning environment that, met the needs of diverse learners.
Okay, so the task is what you were actually trying to achieve.
Yeah, what you were trying to achieve. Okay. Then the action.
Right.
What did you actually do?
Right.
So, you researched best practices in online pedagogy. You designed interactive modules.
Okay.
You incorporated multimedia elements. You implemented a peer support system to foster a sense of community.
Okay, so that's the doing part.
That's the doing part, right?
Okay, and then the result.
And then the result. Yeah. What happened?
What was the impact?
It was the impact of all of your hard work.
Right.
So, you could say student engagement increased significantly, as evidenced by higher participation rates in online discussions, improved performance on assessments. So you could even mention that you presented your findings at a teaching conference.
Ooh, right, or got it published.
Or published an article about it. Yeah. So you really kind of show,
the impact.
The impact.
Yeah.
So, it paints a much more vivid picture than just saying, developed an online course.
Right. It's like we could see the whole thing.
It's like a little story, right?
Yeah.
You've got the beginning, the middle, and the end.
I like it. I'm convinced. Yeah. I'm going to use the STAR method.
Use the STAR method.
But there's one thing I'm still kind of struggling with, is how do we make sure that this really resonates with this particular institution?
This specific institution.
This particular position.
That's such a good question. And it's so important because, you can list all these accomplishments, but if they don't really see how it connects to what they're looking for,
then it's kind of meaningless.
Then it's meaningless.
Yeah.
So you really have to show the committee that you understand their specific needs and how your expertise aligns with their department's mission and goals.
So it's not just about what you've done. It's how what you've done...
How it fits.
Fits with them.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is where research is key.
Research always.
Research. Oh my gosh. So before you even start writing, spend some time really exploring the department's website.
Okay.
Read faculty profiles. Familiarize yourself with their research areas. Look up recent publications or news articles related to their work.
So it's like we're doing a little deep dive.
Yes, a little mini deep dive.
Of our own.
On the department. Before we even write the letter.
Before we even start writing.
Right.
I love it.
You want to show them that you've done your homework.
Right.
That you're genuinely interested.
Yeah, you're not just sending out a generic...
Exactly. You're not just mass emailing your cover letter to every school in the country.
Right.
You're actually interested in working with them.
At this school.
At their school, in their department.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this research is key.
Research is key because then once you've done that research, you can start tailoring your cover letter to highlight the aspects of your experience that are most relevant to their interests.
So instead of just saying, I have experience teaching undergraduate courses, we could say something like, my passion for active learning aligns perfectly with your department's commitment to student-centered pedagogy.
Yes, you're speaking their language.
Yeah.
You're showing them you get it.
I get it.
You know what they're about.
I like it.
And you're excited about it.
Yeah, this is brilliant. I'm starting to see my cover letter as less of a task and more as like an opportunity.
An opportunity.
To really connect with people who are doing work.
People who are doing the work that you want to do.
That I want to do.
At the place where you want to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, we've talked about contact information. We've talked about the STAR method.
Yes.
We've talked about tailoring it to the institution.
Right.
What about that closing?
Ah, yes, the closing.
How do we wrap this thing up?
Right. How do you end it on a strong note? Well, I think the closing is really your chance to leave a lasting impression, you know, and reiterate your enthusiasm for the position.
So it's not just like, thanks for your time, you know?
No, it's more than that.
It's really like driving home. Why?
Right. It's like your closing argument.
Okay.
You know, summarizing your key qualifications and expressing your eagerness to contribute to their department.
So how do we do that? I mean, how do we strike that balance between being professional but also like genuinely excited?
Right. I mean, you can certainly say things like, you know, I am particularly excited about the opportunity to contribute to your department's groundbreaking research in, you know, whatever area it is.
Okay.
Or I believe my teaching philosophy aligns perfectly with your institution's commitment to student success.
So again, it's kind of showing that you've done that research.
Yes, showing that you've done your homework.
And you're not just sending out.
And that you really get it.
Yeah.
You know what they're about.
Okay. And then, of course, we want to thank them for their time.
Of course. Yes. Thank the committee for their time and consideration.
Right.
Reiterate your interest in an interview.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we're almost there. We've got this beautiful cover letter.
Almost there.
One last thing.
One last very important thing.
Proofreading.
Yes, a proofreading.
I mean, I know this is important everywhere, but I think especially in academia.
Oh, absolutely essential.
Yeah, typos, grammatical errors.
This can be a deal breaker.
It's like it shows a lack of attention to detail.
Right, and attention to detail is so important in academic work.
Yeah, so we can't just like rush through that final read.
No, multiple read-throughs are ideal.
Okay.
And I always recommend having someone else.
Right, a fresh pair of eyes.
A fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah.
Look at it for you as well.
Because we're so close to it sometimes.
We get so close to our own writing, we don't see the mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to say, I am feeling so much more confident about my cover letter writing.
I'm so glad to hear that.
I think this has been such a helpful deep dive.
Yeah, a really helpful deep dive.
I love how we've taken this, you know, one-page limit.
Right.
And really kind of
turned it into an opportunity.
To
shine.
Yeah, showcase our skills.
Exactly.
I think the takeaway here is that it's not just a formality.
No, it's not.
It's really a chance to... It's a chance to tell your story.
Yeah, tell your story.
Right, to connect with people.
Yeah, and really kind of let them know who you are as an academic.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us for this exploration of the cover letter.
It's been a delight.
We hope that you find this information helpful as you go out there and pursue your academic dreams.
And remember, the future of higher ed is bright.
Yes, it is.
And you have a vital role to play in shaping it.
That's right. So to all of our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck in your job search.
Best of luck.